I have found the perfect way to use up my stacks and stacks of scrapbook paper. I love paper, I love little houses. I'm going to put the two things together. What I'm using for a base are these chipboard house kits. They come as either single houses or as a set. Each house design comes with its own instructions for assembly. I'm using a little plastic scraper to help me fold along all of the score lines, and then I'm going to be assembling the houses with their rooftops, but I'm leaving the bases off for now. I have a whole other video on putting these house kits together if you'd like to see every single step in order. I'm digging through my scrapbook paper and sorting it by color theme. I have a lot of neutral papers, a lot of paper that looks like letters and postcards and handwritten notes. The neutrals I'm going to use for the walls of the houses, and then I've sorted out some darker craft colors that I'll use for the rooftops. I have noted that you get different results when you tear paper toward you or away from you. I found that if I hold the piece I want in my left hand and tear the paper away from me, it doesn't have that little white edge. So I'm making an effort to keep all of the white edges on the back of the piece that I'm going to use. And I'm just working through my huge stack of paper. I'm going to use these spray stains to subtly tint the houses, just add a little bit of muted color. To make my paper bits a little easier to work with, I'm giving them a pre-soak in a little cup of water. And then for my glue mixture, I'm using about half and half glue and water. Once I have that mixed together, I'm spritzing in my stain, and depending on the color, I'm using between 5 and 10 sprays. And now I'm beginning the process of layering on my paper bits, and I'm going right over the windows. When this dries, I'll open the windows back up. While the walls are still wet, I'm going to use the stain and add just a touch more color. All of the walls have bloated a little bit, but I'm not worried about that because when they're dry, I'll be able to square them back up when I stick them onto the bases. I let the houses dry next to the heater vent overnight. Through the paper, I can feel where all of the windows and doors are, and I can also peek inside to see where they are. And I'm just taking an X-Acto knife and cutting an X and then pushing in all of the bits. I found that a paintbrush handle worked really well for smoothing out the edges of the doors and windows. After smoothing out all of the edges, I painted glue on the inside of the house and pressed all of the tabs down. Now I thought it would be fun for each house to have different paper for the rooftop, so I'm sorting through and matching them up by color. I decided to add a bit more texture by shingling the rooftops, so I'm cutting all of the papers into long, thin strips and then cutting them crosswise to make tiny little paper shingles. Now this looks like it might take absolutely forever, but it really didn't. I think it was about 10 minutes per house to add the shingles. The two houses that have angled rooftops did take a little bit of extra care. I had to cut diagonals to get them all to fit. I picked out coordinating papers for the bases, and then I attached those simply by painting the base with glue, sticking it on the paper, and I put them under a stack of books to dry flat. I am mixing together 2 shades of brown to tint the rooftops. Each house kit comes with its own sheet of windows and doors, so I'm cutting those to fit and I'll attach them to the inside of the houses with glue. Now that all of the pieces have dried, I'm applying glue to the bottoms of the houses to stick them onto the bases. All of these houses have warped a little bit with all of the moisture from the decoupage, so I'm just squeezing them in a little bit while I press them down onto the base, and I hold them for a good 20-30 seconds to make sure they are stuck right where I want them. I've added some LED string lights to the back, and we have arrived at Cozy Town.